So students, we are doing the difference between evergreen forest and deciduous forest, and I was discussing with you. They do not shed the leaves altogether, whereas the deciduous forest shed the leaves at a particular point of time, at a particular time of year. The other name of evergreen forest is tropical rainforest. The other name of deciduous forest is monsoon forest. The next point is they are very dense and do not allow the sunlight to come inside and touch the ground, whereas they are less dense and sunlight may enter inside. They form the canopy, they do not form the canopy. Examples of such forest are rosewood, mahogany, ebony. Whereas examples in this case are sal, teak, neem, shisham, etc. So, in this way, the evergreen forests are different from the deciduous forest. Next comes the overview of the grasslands. So, what are the grasslands? Actually, these are the areas with long and tall grasses covering wide stretches of land. And how tall the grasslands are depends mainly upon the amount of rainfall in that particular area, location, and it is very interesting to listen that half of the world area is covered by grasslands, right? And grasslands are again of two types: temperate grasslands and tropical grasslands. Then next is, what are the shrubs? See, in the areas with a very high and low temperature, extreme high and extreme low temperature, with very less rainfall, the shrubs are found. If we are talking about the very high temperature and very low temperature, so mainly the shrubs are found in the desert area where the amount of rainfall is very very much less, and the temperature are of the extreme conditions, right? These are not of the normal condition. So in India, Thar Desert is there. Such type of vegetation is found in Thar Desert. If we go to Rajasthan, if we go to few areas of the Gujarat, then shrubs are found over there, right? So we have also covered shrubs, also meaning of shrubs. Now, before moving towards the next topic, I would like to tell you about the forest fire. What is forest fire? The other name of forest fire, we can say that wildfire. These are the other names. We can also call it as a brush fire. We can also call it as a grass fire, etc. Now, what is the forest fire? Students, sometimes the fire spreads in a large area. Sometimes the fire spreads in the large area and takes long time to be put off, is known as the forest fire, and it causes great destruction of what? Flora and fauna, right? Now, as far as the forest fire is concerned, the causes of forest fire may be causes of forest fire. There can be two causes, maybe naturally, maybe human induced, right? Now, what are the causes of the natural forest fire? Maybe thundering, maybe lighting naturally, sometimes due to the thundering, storms, lighting, the forest may be caught under the fire naturally, right? On the other hand, what is the man made fire? See, students, suppose there are 10 forest fire, and out of 10, 9 times the forest fire is caused by the humans only, right? The most common cause of man made fire is the use of open flames and disposable barbecue grills. Open flames. What are the reasons of the human induced forest fire? This can be caused due to the open flames and disposable barbecue grills. Even a cigarette can be a cause of, even a cigarette that is not properly extinguished can be the cause of forest fire, right? So, what are the negative effects of forest fire? See, naturally, the forest fire is directly connected with the availability of the forest. If naturally as well as human induced, because of any of the reason, the forest fire occur, then naturally there will be a great loss to the valuable forest resources, like timber, plants, soil erosion also. Then the smoke which is coming out, the ashes, and the other type of residue on the land will increase the pollution, whether it is the noise pollution, whether it is the air pollution, and it may also leads to breathing problems, right? So students, if you remember, near about 6 months back, there was the huge fire in the Amazon forest, and it came in the news for very long time. And from there we came to know that how the natural habitat of the wildlife as well as the other type of resources got destroyed. If you remember that case, for very long time it came in the news as well, right? So how we can avoid and prevent prevention, or how we can control over the forest fires? See, first thing which is coming in my mind is through the laws. Very, very strict laws. With the help of punishment and legal actions, we can control over this situation. Then, if we are burning our garbage, so we can avoid burning of the garbage in such type of areas where this burning of the garbage may lead to the forest fire, so this can be cross checked. Then next point can be by educating the public, and we can also place some sensors or monitor points in the forest to help in detection of fire, right? So by placing the sensors and locating the monetary points in the forest, we can very easily detect where the fire has occurred, and timely we can take some preventive actions to take a control over the fire. So this topic we have done because there is a full-fledged question in the assignment booklet which I have given to you in task to do today. So with the help of such material, although the particular topic is there in on one of the page of the NCERT book, but if you have understood the particular chapter, then you would be able to write it by yourself. The answer of this question you can write it by yourself. So let us move towards our next topic, that is the ecosystem. What is the ecosystem? Students, if you remember, in class 7th we did about the biosphere, and we also came to know that the natural vegetation and wildlife coexist, and where it is coexisting in the biosphere. What is the biosphere? It is the narrow zone of contact between lithosphere atmosphere and hydrosphere. So this is called biosphere, right? So there is a system of interdependence between the living beings and non-living things, and this system of interdependence is known as ecosystem. Right? So I hope this topic is also clear to you. It is a system where the living beings and the non-living things interdependent on each other, and this interdependence is known as ecosystem, right? So let us move towards our next topic. What are the uses of natural vegetation? The uses of natural vegetation is again I have mentioned in the form of importance of natural vegetation. Again I am discussing over here. What are the uses of natural vegetation? Natural vegetation provides us oxygen. It prevents soil erosion. What is soil erosion, students? I explained in detail to you in my previous classes of the same chapter under the heading soil as a resource. There we studied about the soil erosion. The removal of the topsoil is known as soil erosion. Then the natural vegetation is the habitat to the wildlife. It is the habitat to the, rather it is the home of the tribal communities. Then it provides timber, food, fruits, vegetables, etc. Right? So this is how the natural vegetation is useful to us. Then comes our last topic of today's class, is the conservation of natural vegetation. So students, what are the different reasons responsible for which is imposing or creating or developing a great threat to the natural vegetation is the development and the technological advancement. Because of these two things, the human beings started utilizing these natural resources at a much larger scale. This is the main reason for the degradation of natural vegetation, and thus the human activities and the climatic changes are causing a great loss to the natural vegetation. Because of deforestation, construction, construction may be in the form of roads, construction may be in the form of buildings, construction may be in the form of industries. So any type of instruction is leading to the threat to the natural vegetation. So what are the different methods of conservation of the natural vegetation? See, whatever the methods we will adopt, one of the foremost method, very much important method, is planting the trees. And as I have mentioned in my previous lecture also in the same chapter, so suppose your birthday comes, pledge to plant a tree on your birthday. Plant your tree, nurture it, give it water, and later on, once the particular plant will turn into the tree naturally, not only it will provide you shade, it will also become the part of the natural environment, and it will give lot of benefits to our earth, right? So by planting the more and more trees, we can conserve the natural vegetation, and this process is called the afforestation, right? Then we can create the awareness among the people about the importance of natural vegetation, how forest may help in conserving the natural vegetation, right? Then certain type of programs we can adopt in this direction, like Van Mahotsav, social forestry. One of the very famous movement in Indian history was the Chipko movement. Right? All of you know about the Chipko movement, in which people holded the trees very firmly and they did not allow to the tree cutters to cut the trees. So in this way, the forest may be conserved. We can also save the natural vegetation by preventing the forest fire as well. We can discourage the practices like shifting cultivation, which is leading to the infertility of the soil. Such type of farming practices should be discouraged. We can also prevent the overgrazing of the animals. Due to that, especially the grasslands are vanishing, right? So in this way, these are certain methods or suggestions with the help of which the natural vegetation can be saved. So that's all about the today's topic. I hope all the topics are clear to all of you. In our next class, we will be doing about the last topic of the chapter, that is the wildlife resources in detail. What is the wildlife how the wildlife as a resource is valuable, and how the wildlife is useful for the survival of the human beings, and what are the major threats to the wildlife and how wildlife can be conserved. So we will be meeting in our next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.